Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. This is your Wolves Manchester United preview. It's Sunday 4 o'clock kickoff at Molineux. It's our final game of the Premier League season. Solskjaer's expected to rotate heavily for this game against Wolves because the Europa League final is on Wednesday. We have clinched second place and we are guaranteed Champions League football for next season. We are winless in our last 3 Premier League games because we recently drew 1-1 with Fulham. Obviously 10,000 fans were at Old Trafford. The only positive from that Fulham game was Edinson Cavani's goal. He was 40 yards out. Solskjaer gave his perception on that game against Fulham and he said the performance was not what the fans wanted. I expected us to beat Fulham because Fulham have nothing to play for, they're already relegated. We lost 4-2 to Liverpool not so long ago. I was disappointed with that because obviously Liverpool are our rivals. It was Liverpool's first win at Old Trafford in the Premier League since 2014. And it was Jurgen Klopp's first win at Old Trafford. And we lost 2-1 to Leicester not so long ago. I wasn't too disappointed with us losing to Leicester because Solskjaer played a weakened squad in that game, obviously with the fixture congestion. But we have been very poor at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. All our defeats have come at Old Trafford in the league this season. We've been far better away from home in the league. We are unbeaten in our last 25 Premier League away games. Wolves, they're currently sitting 12th in the Premier League. You know, I expected them to do better than they have done this season. Because in recent seasons, they've actually been very consistent. Wolves' current manager is Nuno Santo. He's been Wolves manager now for a few years. He's managed a few clubs before Wolves. He was at Porto. He's managed Valencia before. And he's also managed Rio Ave. Wolves lost their last game against Everton 1-0. Now, we beat Wolves at Old Trafford earlier on this season 1-0. Marcus Rashford scored right at the end. It was a draw between Wolves and Man United at Molineux last season in the Premier League. It was 1-1. We played them in the FA Cup last season. A couple of years ago, Wolves knocked us out of the FA Cup quarter-final. That season they got to the FA Cup semi-final for the first time in 21 years. The last time we won at Molineux was back in 2012, 5-0. Wolves have got some good players though. Obviously Raul Jimenez, he's one of their key players. Raul Jimenez is actually out with injury at the moment. Neto's also very, very good for them. He's out with injury at the moment. They've got Adama Traore. I think he'll be in contention to play in this game. They've got that William Jose. They brought him in back in January. Johnny, he's out with injury for Wolves. Podence, he's also out with injury. I think Ruben Neves is also very, very good for Wolves. Manchester United have actually been in for him before. Wolves have obviously got Dendoncker. Wolves have also got that Connor Cody. They've got Fabio Silva. Wolves brought him in last year. They've also got Nelson Semedo. They brought him in from Barcelona. They've got Markel. Markel's just recently come back from injury. They've got that However. They got him from Liverpool. They've got that Vitina. They also brought him in last year. Don't forget, Wolves lost Diego Jota last year to Liverpool, and you know that was a big loss for Wolves because Jota was very, very good at Wolves. They also lost Matt Doherty to Tottenham. I'm hoping that we can beat Wolves, even though it is a meaningless game. But the Europa League is our priority. You know, we do play Villarreal in the final. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first major final as Manchester United manager. And it's our 8th European final. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. But we win the Europa League, that will give us confidence and it gives us something to build on going on into next season. By the way, we have got some injuries. As you all know, Harry Maguire is out with an ankle injury, so he won't be in contention to play in this game against Wolves. He's got ligament damage in his ankle. He sustained the ankle injury in our 3-1 win against Aston Villa. I think Harry Maguire's doubtful for the Europa League final because Solskjaer recently said it's not looking great with Maguire. Defensively, we are shambolic without him. Martial's obviously been out of a knee injury for a while. Solskjaer said he's hopeful that he will be back for the Europa League final. Daniel James is injured. Fred and McTominay have recently sustained injuries. I don't know if they'll be able to play in this game against Wolves. It depends on how severe the injuries are. Phil Jones, he's obviously out with injury. Or was out with injury, but Jones doesn't get in our 11 anyway. So there you go. Now, I want to delve into some more news on Harry Kane. Harry Kane has effectively confirmed that he wants to leave Tottenham. He says Tottenham could be ready to sell. He will decide on his own future, not Daniel Levy. Gary Neville was recently talking to Harry Kane regarding his future. He said a couple of days ago that Harry Kane handed in a transfer request at Tottenham. Tottenham are demanding £150 million. Man United, Man City and Chelsea have all contacted Harry Kane's representatives. He recently said Harry Kane is set to be offered £80 million in wages. Football Insider said that Man United are prepared to offer Anthony Martial and Jesse Lingard in a swap deal for Kane, because Tottenham have said that they want a players plus cash deal. Ryan Mason recently dismissed suggestions that Harry Kane asked to leave Tottenham. But earlier on this season, Harry Kane came out and said that he wants to win team trophies. He said that after Tottenham's Carabao Cup final defeat to Man City. Tottenham have not won a trophy for 13 years. The other week it said that Harry Kane was ready to ask Tottenham to listen to transfer offers for him this summer. And it said the Glazers were planning to sanction a £90 million bid. I said I was very sceptical that £90 million would be enough to convince Tottenham to offload him. Kane wants his future decided by the 11th of June. That's obviously when the European Championships are. David Ornstein spoke about the situation with Kane earlier on this season, and he said that he spoke to people in football. He said Harry Kane wants to leave, he's unhappy. He said he was committed to Tottenham whilst he's there, but he wants to win the biggest trophies and he hasn't been experiencing this at Tottenham. You know, when Kane leaves them, Tottenham are going to really struggle, and they're struggling as it is now, so they're going to have to get a good, adequate replacement for him. But I would take Kane at Manchester United. The reasons is because he's a prolific goal scorer. That's one reason. He's well proven in the Premier League. He's very good at creating chances. So, they are the reasons. Kane has been a long-serving player at Tottenham. He's endured 17 years with them. He's been in their senior squad since 2009. He's under contract with Tottenham until 2024. He has won the Golden Boot a couple of times, reflecting on his good performances. He's had loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. There's a good chance we'll sign Kane. You know, we are a rich club. And plus we have done business with Tottenham in the past, because we got Michael Carrick off them many years ago, and we also got Dimitar Berbatov off them. And Solskjaer has refused to rule out Man United signing a striker. We still want a striker despite Edison Cavani signing a 1-year contract not so long ago. On my last video, I give you the news on Danny Ings from Southampton. Man United are looking at Danny Ings as a target during the summer transfer window. And the Daily Telegraph said that Man United have inquired about Danny Ings. We're seeing him as an alternative to Harry Kane. Danny Ings has just over 1 year left on his current contract at Southampton. there's no signs of him extending his contract at Southampton. Southampton got Danny Ings from Liverpool for around £18 million. There was a further £2 million based on appearances. But he's done very, very well since he's gone to Southampton. I think he had a few injuries when he was at Liverpool. Before Liverpool, he was at Burnley. Before, he had a loan spell with Dorchester. And at one point, he was at Bournemouth. And he's highly experienced, his Ings. He's 28 years of age. I'd take him at Man United. You know, he can score goals. And he's well proven in the Premier League. You know the news, don't you, on Rafael Varane from Real Madrid? Fabrizio Romano said that Varane is the main name on Man United's list. We are waiting to see what happens with Varane's situation at Real Madrid. Now, it recently said Madrid rejected a £40 million bid because they're demanding £60 million for Varane. And the Manchester Evening News said not so long ago that Man United were holding exploratory talks with Varane as he considers his future at Real Madrid. Liverpool recently held talks. And earlier on this season, it said that Chelsea were the favourites to sign him. And he said Chelsea were prepared to pay £61 million. Varane said earlier on this season that he's keen on a move to the Premier League. He said earlier on this season that Real Madrid were closing in on the signing of David Alaba from Bayern Munich, so reflecting on that, we'd been handed a boost in our pursuit of Varane. Back in 2018, we was prepared to sanction a £100 million move for him and went in for him 10 years ago. His contract talks with Real Madrid stalled earlier on this season. His current contract expires next year. The reasons I'd take Varane at Manchester United is because he's a world-class centre-half. He'd complement Harry Maguire in our back line. He's highly experienced. He would exceed expectations in the Premier League, and he's got a good pedigree as a player because he's won 18 major honours at Real Madrid. So they're the reasons. And he's been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He's endured 10 years with them. He's made over 300 appearances in all competitions. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens. But yeah, there's been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. You know, we still want a centre-half despite Eric Bailly signing a new contract not so long ago. And you obviously know the news on Jadon Sancho from Dortmund. But Solskjaer has already said that he wants to make 3 world-class signings in order for Man United to challenge for the Premier League title next season. And I've already identified the areas in the squad where we need to strengthen up. It's very imperative that Solskjaer gets the players he wants to recommend in the summer transfer window. Because next season is huge for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think he is aware of this. He's got to exceed expectations next season if he is to remain Manchester United manager. And he's aware of how big the summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. It's not long now until the summer transfer window opens. The summer transfer window will be his 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. I hope that Solskjaer gets the backing he deserves. I'm expecting him to get the backing he deserves because we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football. We've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director, and we've also got Matt Judge, and Matt Judge has been part of the club for a long time. I don't think Solskjaer has been backed enough so far, and in that aspect the blame stems from the board. I'm expecting Man United to offload quite a lot of players in the summer transfer window. In that aspect will generate money, and it will help us with our rebuilding process. We could offload De Gea. There again, we may not. Solskjaer has confirmed that De Gea will be in goal for the Europa League final, even though he's second choice goalkeeper. Phil Jones, I hope that we offload him. Romero, I'm expecting us to offload him. I'm also expecting us to offload Lee Grant. Diego Dalot, we're looking to get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. Brandon Williams, I'm expecting us to offload him because he's what our third choice left back now. He doesn't get in our team hardly, so if we offload him, he'll get more chances and he'll gain more experience. Williams played a lot of games last season. That's only because Luke Shaw had a couple of periods out with injury. Andres Pereira, I think we're looking to get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with Lazio at the moment. Matic, there's a good chance we'll offload him because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders. Pogba could be leaving in the summer transfer window, but I hope he doesn't. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance he'll leave, but there again Solskjaer said that no decision has yet been made on Juan Mata's future. And a lot of United fans are saying that we need to offload Anthony Martial. I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer succeeds as Manchester United manager, but I just don't think he will. I don't think he's a long-term manager for Man United, but he does deserve at least another season. To be honest with you, I think he's done a good job, to say the squad he was left with when he came in. I didn't expect him to do as well as he has done, so in that aspect I've got to credit him. And he is our best manager since Ferguson because he has brought consistency back. Solskjaer has just under a year left on his current 3-year contract, but earlier on this season it said that Solskjaer agreed a 3-year contract worth 30 million, likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. My two biggest concerns about Ole is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and his decision making also concerns me. He has been Manchester United manager now over 2 years, and reflecting now on his being at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learnt quite a bit on the job. And he's tried a few different elements, he's tried different formations and he's rotated the squad a lot. When he did get appointed in as Manchester United manager, he did assure that everybody would get their chances to express themselves, including the young players, and to Solskjaer's credit, he has done that, more or less giving everybody their chances. But you know what? We'll always adore Solskjaer, whether he succeeds as Man United manager or not. Because at the end of the day, he is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. I presume there is a lot of United fans that are Ole in and they believe that he needs more time at the club. But obviously a lot of United fans have been demanding him out and they've heavily criticised him. Obviously they've got their reasons behind it. I'm not Ole out at the moment. If things start to go wrong next season, then I probably will start demanding him out. But earlier on this season, I was certainly Ole out. Because, we have endured very, very bad periods under him where you can turn around and say he was lucky not to be sacked. But there is a lot of positives regarding Ole. He's got a second place this season. He's got us to the Europa League final. Got us to the FA Cup quarter-final this season, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final as well. You know, last season, his first full season, he got us a 3rd place finish. He guided us to 3 semi-finals. You know, got a very good away record, like I said. We've enjoyed very good periods under him when we've gone unbeaten for a while. He has made good signings as Man United manager so far. He's spent almost £300 million. And he's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in. And I like the way he has promoted the youth. And yeah, we haven't been great against the top 6 sides this season, but still Solskjaer's beaten quite a few big name managers as Manchester United manager. So they are the positives regarding him. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. Obviously, you know the news regarding the Glazers. Solskjaer recently said that the protests have affected the players. I think the Glazers are going to attend what the Fans Forum on the 4th of June. We've been protesting a lot against the Glazers at Old Trafford. Will the Old Trafford protests force the Glazers out of the club? Not so long ago, Solskjaer said the Glazers apologised to him. That was on the 2nd of May, and he said the violent incidents went too far, but he says the club need to take notice of the fans. Not so long ago, Solskjaer was angry with Gary Neville over the Man United protests, because Gary Neville had quite a few things to say on it. Earlier on this season as well, Joe Glazer wrote a letter to Man United fans. And Avram Glazer, don't forget, refused to apologise over the European Super League because Sky News caught up with him in Florida and he refused to answer any questions. I hope we get the Glazers out, because if we get the Glazers out of the club it will be the right decision, because they've put us in so much debt. And in general, I just hate the way the football club has been run now for a long time. So we need to recommend new owners in. The Glazers have been at Man United 16 years. They bought the club for £500 million in 2005. He said not so long ago they could be forced to sell the club, but for only £4 billion. And, you know, Woodward's out. You know, he's going to be standing down at the end of the year, because it got announced earlier on this season that he resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. Woodward's had a 16-year association with the club. I presume all United fans were happy with the news regarding Woodward, because we've been very critical of Woodward for a long time. Obviously, reflecting how poor our recruitment's been. We've overpaid for players, and in general, the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in. But in the last 8 years, Man United have been playing catch-up. Obviously, we've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson retired. That was David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And we're not even really known as a sacking football club. But we haven't only had different managers with different philosophies. We've spent, over £1 billion in the last 8 years. And we've brought around, 37 players in. We've only won 4 trophies since Ferguson retired, so that just shows how inconsistent we've been. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, that's 8 years ago now. And in general, we've made mistakes in the last 8 years, and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. But a lot of United fans predicted it was all going to go wrong when Ferguson retired. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, like, support on the channel. We'll be giving you my starting 11 prediction for this game against Wolves on my next video, by the way. So take care, God bless, see you all again very, very soon.